Hey everyone, Life Coach Carisa here, coming to you today with a new message about the cost of comparison. So one of my wonderful clients sent me a few ideas for these videos, and I appreciated that so much. I really want to meet people where they are, and if there's something that I can help you gain insight around, I would love to do that. So if you ever have a topic or issue you'd like to hear me share information about, please message me. You can find me on my social channels under Life Coaching with Carisa, or you can message me through my website, which is lifecoachingwithcarissa.com. So today we are going to talk all about comparison, how it shows up in our lives, when it can be a positive, and when it can have a negative cost associated with it. So there are many ways that comparison can show up in our lives, depending upon what stage of life we're in. I was thinking about this. It's almost like there's this evolution to the comparison game. Okay, so here's what I mean. Like as a child, through teenage years, we may compare possessions we have or how well we dress, what we look like, or we may compare our ability in academics or sports. And then when we first enter adulthood, we may compare regarding our education choices, our career choices, lifestyle choices. And then when maybe we get, settled down and get married, and here comes more comparison. Maybe it's about our choice in a mate, our wedding, our honeymoon, where we are going to live, what jobs we will we have children, how many? And then we can move into parenting comparisons. From the moment our children are born, we are comparing their weight and their height and what percentile of growth they are in. And then how soon before they utter their first sounds, they crawl, they stand, they walk, they talk. What reading level are they at? Are they gifted in math? On and on and on. It's so exhausting, isn't it? Well, the act of comparing is not really the issue here. It's the story we tell, the conclusions we come to about us. The act of comparing is actually a part of our human brain. It's very normal. And I want to show you, here are two ways that comparison can actually be helpful to us. So one, we can use comparison to structure our goals. We can get ideas of what's available to us. It can allow us to dream about shaping our future and what we could see for ourselves. That alone can create so much motivation and energy and determination to go after what we want, things we didn't know were possible. And another way is we can use comparison for self-improvement. Maybe there's something that we need to troubleshoot in our lives, and being able to observe the actions and the results of others before us can give us a valuable, data on our journey. So we can use the evidence that we see of what someone else is doing in their life as a way to problem solve or gain new insight into something that's going on into our life. So those two things that I just shared are very neutral emotionally. There's no emotion, positive or negative, in using comparison in those two ways. Now let's talk about when comparison comes at a cost to ourselves. When you compare yourself to others, you're using that comparison as a way to make yourself feel less than. That's what it is when you're using comparison as a way to measure yourself in the wrong mindset, right? So here are some indicators that using comparison in your life is potentially causing damage to your own emotional health. You think thoughts that you are missing out or deprived in some way. You feel the emotion of scarcity more often than feeling abundance. You allow your focus to become distracted from what you wanted to go after in life. You make impulsive decisions that were not a part of your plan. You notice that the temporary enjoyment is so short-lived, and then you just need more and more to stay satisfied. You have a hard time being happy for others and their achievements or success. Maybe you use comparison for resentment or negative self-talk. Maybe you're trying to solve for a negative emotion with things outside of you. You feel the need to show only the best to others. And you focus more on what you need rather than what you could give, or on what you already have. So I'd like for you to reflect on the instances where you found yourself comparing yourself to others. Where are you? What are you doing? What is happening? What are you learning about yourself? What is that person up to that you would like to bring more into your life? What are you inspired to try? What does this tell you about what you want and where you want to be? What possibilities is this person modeling for you? What are you telling yourself about these possibilities in your own life? How might this be an opportunity for you to affirm and celebrate who you are, where you are, and what you already have? All of those questions can help create awareness. And only when we build awareness can we begin to change the behavior. The key to changing your behavior is mindfulness, noticing what your primitive brain is thinking. Then you can begin to practice the skill of thinking new thoughts. And let me tell you, you won't master this completely and never deal with it again. This is an ongoing skill set that you build and strengthen. I know I have been working on myself in this area for so long, being able to look back and see where it's presented itself in my life and notice how it's still with me, as a habit today. But because I've created all this awareness around it, I start to have a choice of when I want to go down that rabbit hole of comparison or when I want to pull myself out of it. Your primitive brain is naturally going to compare. There's nothing wrong with you. You have the control, though, in what you tell yourself and what you make it mean. Now, I will say for me, I can recognize that the more time I spend on social media, I feel like I fall prey to comparing myself. Like intellectually, I know that this social media channel cannot cause me to feel bad about myself. It's my thoughts. But I do think social media is a huge invitation for comparison that just really is not useful to us. Having said that, though, I don't believe I need to erase it from my life. I like to challenge myself by directing myself ahead of time. Like I'm going to say, I'm going to spend X amount of time scrolling social media for this purpose today. And I remind myself that as soon as I feel that vibration in my body of jealousy or envy or regret, I'll remind myself that my primitive brain is taking over here and I need to make a conscious decision of whether to continue scrolling and is it going to help me or hurt me? I get to choose. No outside force is doing this to me. It is my own brain. So notice how your brain is comparing the highlight reel of others to your down moments. I have totally seen this in my own life. When I'm already feeling down, I go to social media and I use everything that I see as a way to compare. And I'm in the completely wrong mindset when I do it. When you compare their highlight reel to your real life, it's completely unfair comparison. Because the truth is, we all experience positive and negative emotions. No one is immune. If we know that life is 50-50 and it doesn't matter how successful, beautiful, or happy we're perceived to be, we're still always human. How many of our idols do we find out and learn over time that they're miserable and depressed and sad? And all along we thought, man, I thought they had it all. And your brain just is lying to you and telling you that because maybe you're depressed and you have a problem. But the only problem is really you listening to that self-defeating thought. We are all whole and worthy. and we're fully capable even when we're having down days. So maybe you recognize that you compare yourself to others and you see that it doesn't make you feel good. What do you do? So for starters, I'd encourage you to write down in a journal how comparison makes you feel. When does it feel good? When does it feel bad? How do you show up when you feel these emotions? In what ways are you comparing? In what parts of your life does it seem to present itself? Do you notice a pattern? Do you notice a commonality? How is that comparison affecting your life? Are you chasing after what you want or what others have? And ask yourself why. Notice for yourself, what do you do when you feel jealous? Does it inspire you to act on your desire to create what they have for yourself? What would be different about the way you're looking at this if you were to use their success as evidence of what's possible for you? So the next time you feel jealous or insecure around others or what you see is going on in their life, ask yourself, what do I have? Because there is such magic in just appreciating what you already have, and you can grow that. That's how you begin to shift out of scarcity and into more feelings of sufficiency and abundance. Practicing what you already have and enjoying that is how you can increase your capacity to have. We're actually really in no position to gain new things in our life if we haven't really taken the time to look at what we already have and appreciate it. So it's good to really do a check-in with ourselves and figure out what's at the root of all this. In coaching, we deal with envy the same as dealing with any other emotion that we experience because, as with all emotions, it's simply a vibration in our body that's coming from a thought that we're having in our brain. So first we'll name it, and then we'll allow it to be there. And then we go to work getting curious about it, paying attention to what it feels like in our body, and what are the sentences in our brain that's causing it. And then ultimately looking at what's going to be the effect of believing those sentences, and if we act on those feelings, what will be our result? The more you can separate yourself from what you're thinking and feeling, the more perspective you'll gain on what's going on. And then you have more authority over it. And then you can change it. So I'd ask you to become the curious observer of those feelings that you get when you compare. What do you think it's there to tell you? What could it be here to show you? I'm telling you, it all starts and ends with your thoughts. That is the secret. And it may not be an easy fix, but if you go through this process, it will be long-lasting. That is where comparison, insecurity, and jealousy originates from. It all starts with your thoughts. We think these feelings are created by other people or the things we'd say or do or how we look. It's simply not true. We feel inadequate, insecure, and jealous when we think we don't measure up. How would it be different for us if we truly believed that there's no need to measure? You give yourself permission to believe that. You give yourself permission to change out old ways of thinking for new ones. I promise you, when you do this work on yourself, you will build a strength around what your primitive brain wants to naturally do. And you will decide when you compare what you are making that mean and how you want to use it to fuel you rather than disappoint you. It really does become a choice that you have authority over. So this is really just scratching the surface on comparison. I think it could be helpful to break this down into specific areas where we compare and really dig deeper in that. But my wish for you, after hearing this information is that you'll spend some time exploring all the questions that I have shared in this video and that you'll use them to create awareness in your life around the act of comparison. Comparing doesn't have to come at a cost of your own happiness, contentment, or self-confidence. You are doing that to yourself. You can choose to stop repeating this pattern of behavior. It all starts with acknowledging what negative result it may be creating in your life and deciding that you want to maybe do something different. Live life with intention. Notice what you are thinking and get curious about why. Switch from your primitive brain to the evolved brain and begin creating new thoughts. It's a beautiful thing when you can feel content and not feel the need to compare. And like I said, you still have a primitive brain, and there are going to be moments when it naturally wants to do that, but you will be in the driver's seat, and you'll get to recognize what's happening and deciding if you want to stay on that path or you want to switch to another path that makes you feel a little bit better and leads you towards the things you want to go after in life. Instead of just creating this feeling of less than. It's not necessary. We have a choice. As always, I hope this was helpful in exploring the ways that comparison comes at a cost. And please remember to like and share this video or any video that you find helpful to you. And reach out to me if there's something you'd like to hear more about. I would absolutely love to bring that information to you to create awareness and insight and how you can apply it to your own life. All right, everyone, I'll be back next week. Take care of yourselves and live with intention.